I'm a smoker, and that's it. It doesn't make me feel bad about myself because I smoke, but it doesn't make me feel good about myself. It's just something I do, and I've done it for more than half of my life.
I mean, it makes me feel a bit sick sometimes when I think that I'm chasing this smoke, which is a total waste of money.
Every day you've got one problem, and that is to get up in the morning and see to your family, see to your kids, see to yourself. One problem. And then you've got a problem to stop smoking. It's hopeless, isn't it? Well, I started smoking 50 years ago. I was at a wedding and someone said, "Do you want to smoke?" And of course, at 12. I thought, oh, yes.
I first started smoking when I was 19, and I was very sort of anti-smoking up until then. And I just started nursing, and a lot of the people around me were smoking. And I think it was sort of stress and being a part of the crowd, and that was the initial beginning, I think. And then after a couple of years, it was to do with not eating and sort of killing your appetite and having coffee and a cigarette.
Older ones at school did it,
I thought that
so you thought you're better. You know, you look, especially when you got into second years, you can say to them first years, look at me, and smoke.
Looking back on it, oh, look at me. Do you know what I mean? I smoke, and it was like trying to make yourself look older, appear older.
It was just a question of keeping up with the others. You know, if you went for a drink, they offer cigarettes round, you know, and they buy each other drinks as they do, and gradually you get persuaded, go on, just try it, just one, which you do. First one was terrible. Well, the first two were terrible. I don't know about you, Ruby, but
well,
they made
you.
Yeah, that's it. Feel sick and dizzy, you know. But as Ruby says, after that, you're off.
Shall we just have a cigarette on it?
Yes. It was part of the glamour scene as well in those days, you know, all these beautiful film stars. Bette Davis film. First one, it really.
Voyager.
Oh, I have now Voyager. That was it. It was a frustrated love story, wasn't it? And he lit 2 cigarettes, right, and gave one to her, and that was as much as contact as they had. Came a fashion, didn't it? It was part of the scene then, you know, that this was part of the glamour, you know, which we needed glamour, all in uniform and this and that.
Smoking was the thing. You was grown up. As I said, the first week's wages, which was 30 bob, you spent a shilling of that on cigarettes and a box of matches. Well, it was perfect. And as their age group, it was just taken for granted. Girls would smoke as much as boys.
When I was younger, I think smoking was definitely an image thing. The way tobacco is used by the advertising industry. To smoke is to rebel against your parents, so it's sort of making a statement about your own independence. One of the biggest things that would stop smoking would be a total ban on advertising.
Well, I smoke between 15 and 20 a day. It's just to release tension, stress, or even like if you're out and it's, what do they call it, social smoking, you know, if you go in a pub and drinking and You smoke, I mean, you smoke more. Well, I do. I smoke more then. I can go through 20 in a couple of hours.
I think a lot of things like smoking is related to people's sort of income.
135, please. Thank you very much. Yep.
Well, there's nothing else in your life. You can't afford newspapers, magazines. Although people might say, well, if you stop smoking, you could have a paper every day, whatever. But it doesn't work like that, because it's something that's touching your taste. It's just to do with your senses. It's not to do with your brain particularly. Although in an addictive way, it is to do with your brain.
I haven't got many things what I can say. I'm doing it by myself, I'm doing it for me, because everything's around the children. I'm cooking for them, I'm cleaning for them, I'm buying this for them, toys, little luxuries and everything. And at the end of the day, like, the money I've got coming in, it all goes towards the children. And what I have is just my cigarettes. That's the only luxury I have. So I think I'm entitled to that.
The kids wind me up. If they're fighting or they're just mavering, or I want to go and kill one of them. Do you know what I mean? I'll pick my cigarettes up first. Have my cigarette and then go and deal with them. Because if I put my hands on them beforehand, you don't know what's going to happen. So it's mainly that, and life is a stress, I suppose. When you feel under pressure by certain things, just have a cigarette and a cup of tea.
Mum! Mum!
I know that when I'm at home, you know, with my son running around, that I don't want to smoke in front of him. So I always go in the kitchen, I have the door open, the window open, so he doesn't sit in smoke. And in the evening I'll smoke upstairs when, you know, when he's asleep and I know he's not going to get up again, and then I can relax and enjoy my cigarettes. Because I've noticed since he came along, I don't enjoy my cigarettes as much as I used to, because I can't sit down and smoke. I'm forever hanging out of a window or a door somewhere. And because I'm doing that, I don't feel like I'm having my cigarette, so I'll have another one sooner than I would do. Otherwise, you see, it sounds a bit crazy, huh?
Rather than smoke in front of the children, I'll go upstairs, I'll say I'm going to the toilet, and I'll sit on the toilet, open the bathroom window, probably have an incense burning or something to cover up the smell, and I'll sit down and smoke a cigarette.
Mum!
You know, so I'm not around the children. I haven't got the pressure of them saying to me, Mum, why are you smoking? Getting out the school book, showing me diagrams of what it does to your lungs, the effect it's having on them.
Mum!
They've got a way with words what makes me feel really guilty, and rather than smoke in front of them, I'll hide under away.
He sees me smoking. He's always chasing after my packets of cigarettes because he likes pulling them apart. But I'm teaching him to smoke already because he sees I'm doing it, so he thinks it's something acceptable, you know. And it's not acceptable. I don't want him to smoke. I know what it's doing to me, but I don't want that for him.
If I was to find out my children were smoking, I mean, they know the dangers, they've told me. So it's not like they're going into it blind, they don't know. One of them was actually caught smoking by his older brother. And I mean, what can you do? You can only tell him off, point out, look at me. Do you know what I mean? I've been smoking since I what? I'm still at it, can't stop. Is that how you want to end up? And look how much it's going to cost you. And
when I was pregnant, and I knew I should stop smoking because I knew it wasn't doing the baby any good, but I couldn't stop smoking. And later on in the pregnancy, I was actually craving cigarettes. The idea of stopping, just although people were telling me constantly, and in fact I was at a party when I was about 6 months pregnant, and somebody came up to me with a cigarette and he was saying, I'm totally opposed to you smoking, you're damaging your child, and he was waving this cigarette under my nose, and you know it yourself, it's not something you don't already know, but in a way you feel sort of powerless to sort of stop it.
It's like, especially when you're at the doctors, at the hospital, everywhere you turn, you're seeing posters up with this pregnant woman with a fag in her mouth. It's like it's slapping you in your face. So therefore, it made me feel guilty.
And this sort of authoritative, you know, just stop smoking doesn't have any impact on me at all. It's something that I'd ignore. Whereas if somebody was to say, well, look, we're doing a workshop on smoking. It's not about stopping you smoking, but it's about looking at why you're smoking. Because like I said to you before, I mean, I've never really sat down and talked about why I smoke. And it's like, I'm thinking, well, actually, why do I smoke? What is it that it really gives me? Because reason tells me it doesn't give me anything. It's bad for my health, it's bad for my child's health. It's costing me money I can't afford. Cigarettes are going up and up, you know. So why am I doing it?
Us as women, we go through a lot of stress because even when you're sleeping, you're still working because your mind is still ticking over. You're thinking about your family. When they start fighting and you've got to separate them, how are you going to manage to find money to put food in the mouth?
Stress, really.
Money to clothe them.
I think they've got more stress than men. They don't deal with problems that we do, you know, with children.
What can I do with them?
Men.
It puts so much stress on you to be the old-fashioned mother figure and wife figure, plus the liberated woman. So you're actually trying to be two people in one.
Because you've got to work so hard.
Women are expected to do a lot more these days. In the workplace as well, they're under a lot of pressure to prove themselves. They're expected to be equal.
Everybody needs a coat, and women go for cigarettes. Good, I'm being right stressed up here, Betty, aren't you?
From the back.
I need a fag look.
It's no use being
not
sanctimonious and saying, oh, it's easy to stop. It is not easy to stop.
I thought, right, I'm going to try my best to stop. It was hard. It was very hard. Looking back, I don't know, I lasted 3 months. Just that craving. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I need a cigarette. But then I started again. It weren't just like that, I suppose. I had problems, stress more than anything, and it was like, oh, I need a cigarette. So I bought 10. And then by like 6 weeks after it, we were back to 20 a day.
My sister came one Saturday and said, we stopped smoking last week, are you going to join in? And we looked as though to say, we can't stop smoking. And we just laughed and said, we'll think about it.
Yeah. So there's 6 of us, like, and it's a case of, we help each other. At first, it was, you're not smoking, are you, Mum? No. Is our Dawn smoking? No, we're doing well, like, you know, that's another week over. It might not sound important, but it was important. 1 more week.
I've given up 2 or 3 times, actually. For years at a time, you know. The last time I stopped smoking, I had an incentive. It looked very much as if I was going to have an operation. I needed all the help I could get. And I stopped smoking, and that was it. That was last year.
And see if somebody else
I'll help you.
will
Come
stop
with
with you. Say, just today, let's see if both of us can go a full day without having one. Oh, we've gone 1 day. See if we can go 2 days. And try and work it with at least one other person.
For the first few weeks, I really did crave cigarettes. I mean, I was, well, did you go? I didn't know what to do with my hands. I used to end up sitting on my hands and everything because something was just missing.
Is having a cup of coffee.
And going out and having a cup of coffee and a cigarette.
I started buying fruits and everything to eat instead of, you know, buns and things like that.
Because you've had it and you've done it for so many years. It's a habit.
You just automatically go for your handbag and, oops, they're not there.
And that lasts a long, long time.
And that lasts. But you do, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
I'm just getting over that gooey feeling. Do you get gooey feeling when you wanted a cigarette?
I still do.
Now and again, but it's becoming infrequent. I don't really go quite some time now without even thinking about a cigarette.
I gave up smoking cigarettes for 3 years. I did notice a big change in my health. I started jogging, keep fit and everything, and I felt a lot better within myself. You know, I used to wake up and think, I feel good, you know, because I'd actually stopped smoking and I weren't slow in doing things. I mean, I was on time for work, whereas I used to sit down before and think, oh, I'll just have one more cigarette and listen to this music, and you could guarantee every morning I was late for work.
I should say yes. Physically. Yes, physically,
You
all
can-
the 6 of us are a lot better. Mentally, we're not quite so sure, but physically, yes.
You get a better sex drive, love, that's what it means, because
we
you
can't do much of mine.
don't get out of breath.
The most brilliant thing about it, when I stopped smoking cigarettes, the money what I used to use to buy me cigarettes, I put it aside and I was able to go to Jamaica with that. Believe it or not, I was.
Have you tasted vegetables from a microwave? They retain their flavour.
Yeah.
And, you know, they taste like what they're supposed to be. Well, when you stop smoking, that taste comes back again.
You feel proud of yourself.
And achievement.
Don't you? I feel ever so good. You know, I've done this at last.
We had a neighbour down the road and he said, you stopped smoking yet? How long? 2 days. Brilliant, you've done well. 2 days, you've done fantastic. And you think, yeah, I'll try another couple of days.
I mean, even now he'll say, how long is it now? He'll say, 2 years. 2 years, 2 months.
Yeah, and I said,
2
you've done
years,
very, very
2
well.
months and 1 week.
Very,